Hi there, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Get Your Ass Up and Move Fitness and Nutrition podcast. I am your host, peta-gay Barrett with Barrett Fitness. And on this podcast, we discuss fitness, nutrition, overall health, and overall well-being. I am super excited, as I am every week when I have a guest, because I have a special guest with us today, Mr. Tarentee Laing. Did I pronounce your first name correct?
Good. That's very good effort. It's good.
Okay, so pronounce your name for us.
No problem, man. It's Tarentee Laing.
Tarentee Laing. Okay, so
Yes,
today's
yes.
topic of discussion, you guys, we will be talking about combating obesity to maintain a healthy body mass index. And I could not think of a better person to have for this interview than you, Mr. Laing. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It's an absolute pleasure to be here.
Awesome. So we detect that accent, and most people who follow me know I love accents. So where in the world are you joining us from?
Oh, I'm joining you guys from the Bahamas.
Okay, awesome. From the Bahamas. How is life on the island these days?
It's pretty interesting, with this whole pandemic. But we're surviving. It's going pretty, I guess, as good as it could be right now. As
Right.
good as it could be. Yes.
Awesome. So again, we will be talking about combating obesity, and our goal is to maintain a healthy body mass index. So with that being said, tell us a little bit about yourself. I know you're a personal trainer. We met at the National Academy of Sports Medicine conference several years ago. So tell us a little bit more about you.
Definitely. All right, so of course, we met from NASM. I'm a certified personal trainer from NASM Standards, also a corrective exercise specialist from the Standards as well. I pretty much do Optima, the health and fitness summits there every year. I'm also certified by AFA, BOZU, and Strong by Zumba.
Okay. What's AFA?
American Fitness Athletics Association.
Okay.
Yes, yeah. So that's where I got my GFI from.
Okay.
Yeah, my
And
group fitness.
you're a fitness nutrition specialist with NASM as well, right?
Yes,
Okay.
as well.
Look
Yes.
at you. So
And I'm
you
also,
go
I'm
ahead.
also, I also have a nutrition and fitness certification with Penn Foster.
Oh, wow.
And I think that the only additional thing that changed since we met at Optima was I recently completed my business management degree with the University of the Bahamas. I have a bachelor's in business management as well.
When do you find time to do all this to educate yourself? I'm so proud of you. Good
Thank
job.
you. Thank you. Likewise.
Awesome. So you're one of the best persons to have these conversations with. So before we get into obesity and body mass index and so forth, tell us what motivated or inspired you to not only get into fitness and be a fitness professional, but to stay in it and be able to educate yourself up to this level.
Well, what really began my journey is that I had a doctor's visit where I did a physical, and I found out that I was obese class 2. Yeah, my BMI at the time was something like 36, 37. So I was more so within the mid-range of obese class 2, that 35 to 40 class. At the time, I was like 19, 20 years old. I weighed something like 240 pounds. And when I had that visit, that was my wake-up call that I really had to do something about it. So it took me about 6 or 7 months to go from 240 to 170.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so
Wow. That is quite an inspiration. Good for you. So, well, I think we spoke about this just a little bit. So tell us some of the things that you did to, help you, overcome that obesity and maintain, and now it looks like you're maintaining a healthy body mass index.
yes, definitely. So what I had to do is I had to find ways to keep myself motivated. But one of the main things that I wanted to do is that I was doing a lot of Google research, but when I came to a certain level where I was instructed, when I first started, I didn't have any certifications. So the first thing I felt as if I needed to do is I needed to ensure that I found some authoritative bodies and scholarly bodies to really advise me on what is the up-to-date, accurate, and science-based information from a nutrition and fitness perspective. And so that pretty much brought all my love for National Academy of Sports Medicine, American College of Sports Medicine, Penn Foster, Zumba, and all of the others. And so that really kept me motivated. The summits, I think, as I was telling you as well.
Yes, yes.
I'm kind of a summits and a conference and a certifications junkie.
Yes.
Yeah, so those really do help me to stay motivated and talking with persons like yourself. You know, talking with persons who share my passion and share my interest when it comes to nutrition and fitness. And also, when you know that you're of service to someone else. When I hear clients tell me stuff like, "Oh, coach, you changed my life," or "You've helped me to do so much," or where I have stories with clients where I have a client who started the program, obese class 3, where it's hypertensive, type 2 diabetes, and for the fact that they could tell me 6-7 months later, everything has been reversed.
Wow.
They now function at a healthy BMI. Their pressure level is perfect. Their sugar level is perfect. And that same client who was struggling in the back is now running 4 and 5 and 6 miles a day.
Wow.
Yeah. So for the fact that, you know, there are many days that I want to stay home and sleep, but for the fact that I know that someone else is dependent on me, it kind of encourages me and motivates me and inspires me to keep pushing.
Perfect, perfect. And I have the same experience. You know, when I have clients who tell me that I've overcome obesity or my blood pressure is low or I'm sleeping well at night, I mean, those are the things that get me up every day and make me want to go do it, right?
Exactly. Yes, it
Yes,
does.
yes. Good for you. Very, very good for you. And as you know, we are recording this for YouTube as well. So probably there's someone out there who will hear your story and maybe you don't want to become a personal trainer, but you can do it, right? You can do it on your own, listening to people who are professionals, people who are educated like yourself. You didn't just Google, you know, how to lose weight. You took the time to invest in yourself so you can share that knowledge with others, correct?
Exactly. Yes, definitely.
Good, good,
Definitely.
good for you. So let's talk about obesity. How do you define obesity and what's a normal body mass index?
Well, when it comes to obesity, so far, normal body mass index, what I try to tell my clients is that the healthy range is anywhere from 18.5 to 25. And then the overweight range, of course, is anywhere from 25 to 30. 30 to 35 is obese class 1, 35 to 40 obese class 2, then 40 and above is morbidly obese. So it's kind of weird in the Bahamian culture because it's very rare to find a client who is at the healthy range, 18.5 to 25.
That's right, yeah.
You find that they actually look at the overweight range, being like 27, 20, 29, and I even find myself very often saying stuff like 27, or 28, in comparison to our culture isn't so bad, but in reality, you know, it is a problem. It is a problem.
It is.
And so I find that if you're within any one of those ranges of 25 to 30, 30 to 35, of course, the higher it is, the more it increases your chances of acquiring any type of chronic disease or non-communicable disease. And so I often what I try to do is I try to give a lot of comparisons to clients so that they can understand the terminology a little easier because, you know, for persons like us who are, we can say, subject matter experts who really specialize in it, the jargon is easy for us.
Right.
But for clients, I often tell them stuff like, it's almost like chances of rain or the probability of rain.
Yes.
The 25 to the 30% is a low chance. Not so high, but there's still a high possibility that rain is going to come. The 30 to 35 is more serious, the percentage is higher. That 35 to 40 and that 40 and above is almost like a guarantee.
It's going to happen, right.
So I tell clients, this is like when it comes to chronic diseases, and this is why if you find a client who is within 35 to 40 or 40 and above, they have at least one non-communicable disease. At least one. They have hypertension, or they have the diabetes, or they have the coronary heart disease. And for a lot of clients too, when I try to explain to them, they'll be like, oh, all of those things are perfect. Well, obesity is a chronic disease as well.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And so it's a dying disease. And so I try to get them, and even down to this morning with speaking to my clients, I was saying that I love the camaraderie of the group. We had maybe about 20 some, 30 some persons out this morning. I love the camaraderie. I love that they're excited to come outside, but we must be mindful that our purpose of being here is to become healthier.
That's right.
acquire a healthy BMI. So progress tracking, making sure that we're getting closer to healthy BMI, because today was their weighing day, is very important. We just want to ensure that all of this is actually effective and serving the purpose of us being there.
That's right. Yes. Because,
Yeah.
you know, a lot of people go to the gym just to socialize and hang out and have a good time. And all of that is great. You know, that will help you as well, want to stay into the gym or whatever. But that shouldn't be your main purpose of going there. If that's the case, you're wasting
No,
your time and your energy, right?
exactly, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly,
And it is
exactly.
the same thing here. You know, you brought up a good point. Here in the US, I mean, obesity and, you know, diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, I mean, those numbers are through the roof. And now I
Well,
find as a personal trainer myself that, you know, that 26, 27, 28 is actually more of the norm. And you will hear people say,
yes,
oh,
yes,
everybody is obese. But that's not
yes.
good though. Everybody
No,
shouldn't be obese.
exactly, exactly. And see, and you brought up such a powerful point, because just because it's popular and just because it's rampant doesn't make it okay.
That's right.
Does
That's right.
not make
Yeah.
it okay. It does not. And so, you know, in a lot of cases, at first, when I first started, I found that my passion in a lot of cases turned into me being overly aggressive with
Yeah.
clients. And
Mhm.
I wanted it for the client more than they wanted it for themselves. And so
Mhm.
I found myself getting very, very aggressive and being like, oh, no, this is not okay. This is not, you know,
Mhm.
really
Mhm.
taking it. But of course, you know, I had to take a step back and I had to really get them to understand. But what is sad is that you would have that conversation with a client where you would try to warn them. Like we would try to warn them about, as I used in the comparison previously, about the probability of rain. We
Mhm.
would try to warn them to reduce the chances of that rain coming. And
Right.
then what would be so sad is that they'd make a reactive measure. They'd come to us after the chronic disease has come.
Yes, yes,
When
yes.
we were trying to help them, and I often tell clients, and even like when I talk in the Bahamas, you know, like different panels and things of that sort, and I talk about, you know, healthy lifestyles, wellness, and all of that. I said, when it comes to fitness and healthy living, we need more proactive rather than reactive
That's
measure.
right.
We
Yeah.
do. We cannot. Why is it that you have to tell me that you're coming to me because you were referred by a doctor?
Right. Yeah. Because you had a
Everyone.
heart attack or you have diabetes. Why don't you come to
Oh,
prevent those things from
yes,
happening? Because it will be
exactly.
an easier process, right?
It would. It would be so much of an easier process, so much of an easier process. But I found that, as you know, as I've been doing nutrition and fitness now for about 6 years in the Bahamas, really specializing. But of course, a pandemic thing has caused me to venture to help persons in different parts of the world, in different islands.
Mhm.
But I found that it's not as black and white as just nutrition and fitness.
That's right.
Motivation is a huge factor,
That's
huge
right.
factor. And
Yeah.
if a client is not motivated to make that step,
Mhm.
I've had instances where husbands called me in to talk to their wives, or I've
Mhm.
had instances where mothers would bring me in to talk to their children,
That's
or
right.
I had instances where in corporate wellness plans where CEOs or presidents, proprietors would bring me in to talk to their
That's
staff.
yeah.
But
Mhm.
until that person, until that entity is ready to make that step, we're
Mhm.
we're preaching to
That's right. That is true. Well, those things help as well, right? That's one of
yes,
the things we study with the National Academy of Sports Medicine. That
yes,
outside motivation makes
yes,
a big difference, right? That husband,
yes,
that wife,
yes,
that mother, that father, you know, make a big difference. Because if you're going out as a wife, working out, and your husband's at home eating hoo-hoos, ho-hos every day, I mean, that's going to
exactly.
tempt you to want to do that. But
Yes,
number
yes,
one is you, yourself,
yes,
in your head.
yes,
You have to
yes,
be ready to want to take on that
exactly,
lifestyle.
exactly. You
Yeah,
have to. You have to. You really do.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You really
Alrighty,
do.
so let's talk about your personal training style, right? I know you love
Yes.
groups. What type of personal trainer would you say you are, or do you have a specialization, something that you focus on?
Well, what I would say is that I specialize more so with, even though, okay, I can help a client create a nice and toned and lean physique, and that is the end goal of my program.
Mm,
But more so is when it comes to my style, is I teach clients what is required to start and sustain a healthy lifestyle. Motivation is a huge factor. And even down today is that how, you know, we're trained to progress track persistently. to make sure that the program, the fitness prescription that we're putting to our clients is actually effective. And so I monitor my clients' progress like at least every 2-3 weeks. And so if I see there's an instance that I gave a client, let's say a 15 or 20 mile target within a 2-3 or 4 week span, and they're not able to achieve that, then I would not go up by another 10-15.
Right. You know, you have to make some adjustments and some changes for that person, right?
Exactly. So in a lot of cases, what I find out in the early stages is that we want it to be restrictive, but consistency. We want the client to be consistent with the program. So I found that very early on, especially with a client who has no familiarity with healthy living, who feels as if healthy living is just eating salad and chicken all day.
Right.
You know, but we don't really understand that it's about variety. That I start slow,
Yeah.
you know, focus on the art of moderation, understanding that Rome was not built in a day.
Right.
And then when they're out of that weight loss phase, when they're no longer in obese class 3, or obese class 2, or obese class 1, or overweight, and they're now at a healthy BMI, then we start to specialize a little bit more. But mainly for the fact that, as I told you, that I had additional assistant me, but right now it's just me who deals with the program. And right now I have a lot of clients that I deal with. My focus area is strictly obesity.
Oh, okay. And where that is concerned, as much as exercise is important, that nutrition plays a huge role into that. And I know you're a big proponent of nutrition, right? People think they can starve themselves and lose weight. That's not the healthy way.
Exactly.
So let's talk about the difference between males and females. Do you find that there are any differences as it relates to obesity and maintaining a healthy body mass index? Is it harder for one sex, for male or females? Is it easier? How would you compare male versus females?
What I would say is that from my personal experience, from my clients, and even from what I've learned, is that, of course, males have more muscle mass than females. We know that. And so in a lot of cases, you know, when muscle being more metabolically active, it could expedite the weight loss process.
That's right.
Of course, we know that. But what I found in my personal experience, what I could say, is that I find that most males who come to my program, especially if it's a group setting, they more so like to put up this alpha male personality up. And so it's an ego thing.
That's right.
So how a female would say in a session that she cannot do it, or she does not want to do it, or even, you know, even saying about the limitations if they're heart racing or all of that other stuff, a male in most cases wouldn't do it.
Right. They're going to push themselves and try to do it even though they know they can't. And what do you find happens? What do you find happens in those cases?
Yes, in a lot of cases I found, especially for now, the male is there. So in most cases I find that males are a lot more competitive in a group like setting, a lot more competitive. I've had instances where, remember, in a 6-week span, I think the highest I've ever had when it comes to a male is almost like 36, 37 pounds.
Right. No, okay. And then I do find that as well. And for those reasons, like you said, you know, the guys will lose weight a little bit quicker. They'll lose more weight over a short period of time. And while that's the ego and them pushing themselves, like you say, their muscles are bigger. You know, you guys have bigger hearts, you know, so you're going to have the capability to go a little bit harder than women can. We have more body fat on us. You all have more body muscle, you know, than we do. So scientifically, you're going to lose weight, you know, probably a little bit quicker than us. But like you say, it's maintaining that crap.
Exactly.
So what's the hardest part of what you do?
I find that the hardest part for me in particular is that, and I'm going to be transparent for a moment, because I found that in my experiences that there are many times when I go to sessions that I am ill. Like the other day that I was in recovery mode where I had a major injury from pushing myself too hard. And so in a lot of cases, I put my own personal health and my own personal needs aside for my clients. In a lot of cases, I find that I'm taking for granted, like a client does not take into account how much he pays for his certification.
That's right, yes.
The off time, the amount of time that he takes out of his personal life just to put the program together.
Yeah, and I agree with you. That is part of the hardest part of, what I do. But it takes passion. Like,
Yes.
we have to be passionate about what we do to
Yes.
not, well, you have to be cognizant of that free time, but
Yes.
you have to be like, what, I'm just so passionate about this. I'm going to do what I got to do for my client. And then what's
Yes.
going to bring the return? Them recommending someone, recommending their friends,
Yes.
their family,
Yes.
what have
Yes.
you.
Yes.
But the struggle is real, my brother. One last question for you before we wrap up here. And I always like to ask, the personal trainers that I interview or people who are into health and fitness, mental health. How does fitness and exercise and nutrition affect mental health? With everything that's going on, people are stressed out and people have anxiety and there's depression.
Yes.
How does what we do on a daily basis help with mental health?
Yes. The endorphins is number one. The endorphins, and I'm sure in a lot of cases I'm on the side. I found that, especially from experience from myself, not just from a client perspective, but from me being the client and me actually experiencing it. When I start my day, let's say with a good run or any type of good cardio resistance session, I find that the rest of the day goes smoother.
Same
I
here.
feel more energized. It makes me feel better, and I also feel that psychologically it makes you think better.
That's
And
right.
even down to what I explain, tell a lot of clients, for me personally, is that when I'm doing it, there was a time that I was in UB, I was in NASM, and I was in ACSM. And I think during the exact same time that I came to Optima, I was having midterms.
Wow.
So I was balancing all of that. And during that entire time, I did full pescatarian. Full pescatarian. I did salmon, I did tuna, I did mackerel, I did sardines because I know about the brain out.
That's right.
So it helps me to think better. So anytime I'm dealing with any type of finals, any type of examinations, it helps me to think better, think smoother, and it helps with the cognitive. So I could only tell you the benefits that one can receive from exposing themselves to good nutrition, a healthy lifestyle. And so what I try to tell a lot of clients, especially when it comes to school clients or clients that have to deal with a lot of thinking, when you treat your body the way that it deserves to be treated, it responds favorably.
Yes. You take care of your body will take care of you.
Bingo. And I often tell my clients, and as I told you before, I use a lot of comparisons to make sure that it's relatable and they can understand what I'm saying. I say that almost the exact same thing when it comes to your vehicle. Your vehicle needs regular tune-ups. It needs its oil, it needs its antifreeze in order for it to function at its optimal potential. Only way. If you do not give your vehicle regular checks and making sure that those liquids and fluids are balanced, then you cannot expect for it to respond favorably. Exact same thing when it comes to your body.
That's right.
And your macros. So if you are not giving your body an adequate amount of carbohydrates, proteins, and fats, not making sure that you're giving your body an adequate amount of calories, as you said, and not understanding that it's not about starvation, but nourishment.
That's right.
Giving your body what it needs to thrive. How could you expect your body to function favorably?
That's right.
How? Especially during times like this. You understand that it goes and Barrett, what I try to say so often is I try to tell my clients is that fitness, when it comes to healthy living, is not just for someone who's obese, it's something for everyone to try to follow.
We need it. It doesn't matter how healthy you and I think we are. If we don't take care of our body, it will fail us.
Exactly. But it's just this mindset that when I'm knocking on death's doors, when I have hypertension, when I have diabetes, when things are so bad when it comes to my health, that's when I'm going to start exercising. That becoming active and joining a gym is my last priority.
My last resort, yes. Yeah.
Yes. And my thing in a lot of cases, it needs to be a first. It needs to be a first because guess what? If that health goes, all of those other things are going to go as well.
Doesn't even matter. Doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter how successful you are in your career.
Exactly.
That should be the priority.
Exactly.
So what do you tell that person who, wait until they have that heart disease and, high blood pressure, and then now they want to get into fitness? What advice, as we wrap up, what advice would you give to that person? They've never worked out in their life. They just went to the doctor, realized they have high blood pressure, they have high cholesterol, this stuff. What do you tell them?
What I would tell them is that Rome wasn't built in a day and start somewhere.
Yes.
just start somewhere. In a lot of cases, people, and if we go back to what I said previously, is that it's a process. And I was just telling this client last night. She started out of the program for almost 2, 3 years. She had a health crisis that she was dealing with, and so last night was her first day back to the sessions. And so she was like, "Oh, coach, I think I need work here. I need work here. I need work here." I realized from in this session that I was not where I want to be, and it was not good. And I'm so weak here. I said, but what you have to understand is that when it comes to your children and your toddler, you didn't just put them in grade 12.
That's true. They didn't come out of you and go in grade 12. I love that.
They went through a process. They started with preschool, then they went to grade 1, then they went grade 2. Exact same thing when it comes to fitness. But the main thing, the only way that you get to those next levels is through consistency.
That's right.
So you start somewhere and you become steadfast on progressing, improving each week. You can start by doing a half a mile or even a mile, and you could start by walking.
That's
So
right.
what I'm trying to say is after week 2 or week 3, okay, if I was walking all of this time and I was correlating it with the correct nutrition to fuel me, let me challenge myself. Instead of walking the entire mile, let me jog.
Walk and jog.
Bingo. Or walk a pole, jog a pole.
That's right.
Once you make it a lifestyle, and once you say, I don't have 2, 3 weeks to become healthy, but I have the rest of my life, eventually you'll get there.
That's right.
So even if you start somewhere, it could be as simple as going on Google. You could go on YouTube, look up different exercises. But of course, I would say that when it comes to selecting those exercises, you want to deal with a professional.
That's right.
Not just from a weight loss perspective, but also from an injury perspective. Because you want to be exposed to someone who understands that safety is number one and understands the limitation of each client.
Yes.
And as we said, that it's a process. So if you're at a beginner's level, you should not be doing advanced exercises. You should be doing beginner level exercises. And when you're up to that advanced level, then we could expose you to that. And persons like ourselves, who are NASM trained and certified with all of these different certifications, we understand what is needed for your body. And yourself, as well as me, we have programs, that are very affordable. Yeah. You understand? Very affordable. Exactly. So what I would say is you start somewhere. Even if you can't give us a call right now, start from somewhere. Right. Start as simple as walking. It could be even going up and down your stairs. If you have a swimming pool, it could be swimming in your pool, but get active in some capacity.
Right. Yeah. Wow, this was a great conversation. Oh my God, I just love the wealth of information that you have. But like you said, just start somewhere. Start somewhere, you guys. Don't just jump into it and expect to lose weight and get that healthy body mass index overnight. Like you said, Rome wasn't built in the night. Your child was not born and automatically went to grade 12. I love that analogy.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, love. Thank you.
Yes.
And likewise, from I met you so many years ago at Optima, I just love the wealth of knowledge that I received from you as well. And not only did I love the wealth of knowledge, but I love the passion behind it.
Yeah, you have to be passionate, right? There's a lot of people who are in this business, I don't know, for fame and fortune and, popularity, and I'm in it for the long haul because it actually keeps me motivated as well. When I put out fitness information, I do these podcasts and I speak to, people like yourself. It keeps me going. It gives me the drive to want to continue to share, want to continue to educate myself so I can educate others. So thank you so much for taking your time out to joining us. So tell the people, where can we find you? I know you're on Instagram. It's kind of where we communicate with you. Where can we find you?
Well, you could actually find me on Instagram by contacting Cardio Blast Experience, the same logo on my shirt. And also my personal Instagram is Coach T from CBE.
Okay.
All right. Awesome. And also on all of the other social media platforms. So Facebook, we're on Snapchat. Once you type in Cardio Blast Experience, you'll be able to find us.
Awesome. So you guys remember, we are recording this for YouTube. So I will put Tarentee, I keep pronouncing your name.
You got it, very good.
Okay, I'll put Tarentee's information in the comment below on YouTube and in the notes for this podcast, you guys. Thank you so very much, you all, for joining us on this conversation. Thank you, Tarentee, for your wealth of information, joining us all the way from the Bahamas. I know you have a little bit of drama there this morning, but a lot of us wish we could be on an island, power or no power. We wish we could be on an island right now. Alrighty, you guys. So thank you all so much for joining us. And if this is your first time checking out my podcast, please go ahead and subscribe. The name of the podcast again is Get Your Ass Up and Move. It's a fitness and nutrition podcast. Anywhere you choose to listen to podcasts, it's available on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, on my blog at barrett.fitness, or you can check me out on YouTube at Barrett Fitness and Nutrition. Tarentee, thank you so much, my dear. I will let you get back to your island life living. I appreciate the conversation.
No problem. Thank you so much for having me once again.
Awesome. So until next time, you guys, Tarentee and I, we are out.